Go ahead, Mike Kloss.
Fran, I'll give you a softball. Joe Wieskamp getting Player of the Week yesterday. Could you talk about what he's been doing, not just in the last week, but in the last, I don't know how many games?
Yeah, I'm really proud of Joe and how he continues to improve. I mean, he's been a terrific player from the day he showed up on campus, but he just keeps growing. You see it in his confidence, his physicality. I mean, he's just making big shot after big shot. His defense, I think, is really taking a huge step. He's making steals, and he's always been a phenomenal rebounder. And you don't always get that from your small forward position. And I've been playing him a lot at two guard. You know, with CJ out, he's still rebounding at a very high level. I'm playing him a lot of minutes, and he's in phenomenal physical condition. So you know, anytime you got a guy who's playing like he's playing and he gets recognized for it, you know, it's a great feeling.
With how the defenses have been playing Garza, is it almost absolutely essential that Joe's been doing what he's been doing?
Yeah, I mean, especially without CJ, but then, you know, he needs help too. You know, we, for the most part, have gotten great productivity off the bench. You know, we had, I forget exactly which game it was where we didn't. Might have been, I think it was the Indiana game on the road. We didn't get as much. But normally, you know, we're getting offense off the bench because you no longer have, you know, Keegan Murray coming off the bench. So he's in the starting lineup. He hits 2 threes to start the game. Connor, of course, played great in the Michigan State game, and that was big. But, you know, we're fortunate to have that kind of team where different people can come up huge on different nights. But, you know, Wieskamp's a guy that, you know, you sort of expect him to be at that all-conference level, and that's what he's doing.
Mark Emmert.
Yeah, Fran, I meant to ask you this the other night after the Michigan State game, but that was a game where you only had 5 turnovers again as a team. You've done it twice this year, both against Michigan State. Can you talk to how difficult that is, especially the pace you guys want to play out to do that, and how are you able to do that?
You know, I really think it comes down to the players that we have. And you're right, you know, we play fast, so that might increase your turnover numbers. We played a team on Saturday that's very physical, so sometimes that affects you. But you know, I think to a man, we have a group that understands it. I don't look at our team and say, okay, we don't have any bad ball handlers. We don't have anybody who doesn't understand the game and what the game plan is. So we talk about ball movement and cutting and screening and getting people open and throwing the ball to open people. It's getting a group that understands that, and understands that in particular when you're playing really athletic teams, which pretty much everybody in our league is, you know, live ball turnovers where you're driving into packs of people, turning it over, or, which is equally bad, taking a horrendous shot that leads to a long rebound, you know, those turn into buckets for the other team. So understanding the value of the basketball is something that we stress, but I'm not going to take credit for it. I'm going to tell you that we have smart, talented guys that truly understand that and understand the impact that has on a team's ability to win.
Tom Kakert.
Fran, what do you see from Wisconsin so far this year? Really veteran club, a lot of guys back from last year.
Yeah, really talented group. You got a lot of different weapons, multiple three-point shooters. Like you said, veteran guys, so they're not a big mistake club, never have been. Always you know, a low turnover group. Obviously, it starts with Trice as a you know, veteran point guard who's already, you know, in his 5th year. So it starts with him, but their big guys, are equally comfortable in the post or on the perimeter. They run what they run. They're a very good defensive team. And so a team that you have to play really well to beat.
Josh Christensen?
Yeah, Coach, I don't necessarily want you to be able to speak for Luka, but with him approaching Roy's scoring record, can you speak to just how rare this really is, especially with what Roy's record was and what Luka has done in his 4 years? And I mean, you coached Devin for 4 years, and you got to know Roy in your time at Iowa.
Yeah, it was one of those records that you knew would eventually get broken, but it was going to be really hard. Especially now with people leaving early. But anytime you score over 2,000 points, that's an incredible accomplishment. And I coached against Roy, and of course, like you said, I got to know him, which was really special for me. But to watch Luka just keep grinding, we had it with Aaron White. I mean, he came close, but you're going to have to be an incredibly productive player for all 4 years to score over 2,000 points, and stay on the floor. And I'm so proud of Luka. And as I said before, I just wish Roy was here to see it and be a part of it. Devin Marble was truly one of my favorite players I've ever coached. I've said that many times, and I mean it, because not only was he great, he is one of the smartest players I've ever had, and played multiple positions and just competed like his dad and like Luka.
Chad Leistiko?
Hi, Fran. I've actually got 3 questions, so if I see other hands, I'll bail. But
Okay.
With Iowa, Nebraska not scheduled yet, it seems like it would make sense mid next week or something. I mean, are you surprised it hasn't been scheduled yet? Do you think it'll be in that window?
It's going to be rescheduled. There's been a lot of talk about it, but as we come down the stretch here, across the board, there could be other changes as well in terms of, okay, you're playing this day instead of that day. We're just going to have to roll with it. So, I think, you can look and say, well, it didn't make sense that you play here, and we might, but we also might not, but it'll happen.
Okay. And then I don't think we asked you about CJ after the game. He was pretty optimistic the previous game, that he was feeling better. Did he have a setback, or is it just, again, that day-to-day deal?
Yeah, he was terrific. You're right, Chad, against Rutgers. And he felt good. He didn't feel so good the next day, so he was not ready to go. I guess you're right. I mean, that's the definition of day-to-day. Boy, he felt great, and then he didn't feel great. Okay, well, then he's not going to play. We're not going to run him out there. It's just not fair. And I say this over and over, he's been really diligent with his rehab and treatment and being in the training room, and hopefully we'll get this thing figured out.
Okay, my last one, and then I'll get out of the way, is I guess, Jordan goes back to the Kohl Center this week, and how big, that shot 4 years ago, was that, I guess, a big moment for the program, a big moment for him in your mind to win in the Kohl Center like that?
Yeah, I guess he looks at it that way. I didn't really look at it that way, but the fact that he had 2 brothers play there, I suppose it was, probably grew up going to games up there, I'm guessing, right? That's probably what you're referring to. But in terms of how I looked at it and how I looked at him was, we're playing a really good team on the road, and just do what you do. That kid's a gamer. He's always been a gamer. We're down 2. We ran a play for Peter Jock, who led the league in scoring, and he missed it. Cordell rebounded, threw it to Jabo, and he buried it. And then we went down and got a stop. So It was an awesome night for a young team. That was a very young team on our way to 19 wins, because we really didn't know what to expect from that team. You know, J-Bo was a freshman, started at point. Tyler Cook was a freshman, and had some great moments in the league, that group. But you know, that was a big shot for a freshman, you know, especially with his entire family there. So I understand what you're saying.
Hey, Fran, was wondering about the development of Chris Murray and also Josh Agundale. They seem really active on the bench, and cheering their teammates on, but how have they developed in practice?
They both have been great. You know, it's hard. You know, we're playing 11, not 11 if somebody's out, but, you know, we've kind of rotated 11 guys. But I feel comfortable with both of them. You know, Chris is ahead of Josh. Josh will get there. Chris can really play. He's just behind some guys right now. You know, with his brother and with Patrick and Jack and Luka, you know, and Connor and Wieskamp. But, you know, it'll open up for him. He's gaining valuable experience and practice. He's different. There's a lot of the things his brother does, but he's different in a lot of ways too. But he's going to be a really good player here.
All right, anything else for